I'd be doing these steps if I wanted to move to Europe in 2025. Based on my 14 years of living in Europe, from studying, working, and doing business across European countries, believe me, if I knew these secrets back then, it would have saved me years of frustration and thousands of euros. Did you know that around 30% of international movers regret their decision within the first year? They're overwhelmed by the hidden costs, cultural barriers, and a job market that is far more competitive than they expected. And that statistic isn't just a number, it is a reality I've witnessed firsthand. I've seen people come to Europe full of hope, only to end up feeling stuck, lonely, and disappointed. Today, I'm sharing a step-by-step guide. This roadmap can save you from falling into the same traps. If you want to avoid regret and make your move to Europe a life-changing success, then keep watching. I promise, by the end of this video, you'll have a plan that is as strategic as a chess game, but with a much higher chance of winning. In this video, I'll break down the 4 key steps I'd follow if I were starting my journey to Europe again. This isn't the kind of advice you find on travel blogs or from influencers who gloss over the tough stuff. I'm talking about reason and evidence-based guide. I personally know moving to another country and region, specifically Europe, is a huge decision. And you deserve more than just a vague advice. First, I'll show you how to identify your why, your drive, your fuel that you will desperately be in need of in this journey. Second, we'll dig into the main entry pathways to Europe and why to choose any of them or not. Third, I'll teach you how to quickly identify a short list of relevant European countries for yourself. And finally, I share the one thing that most people overlook. And honestly, no one wants to talk about it. I'm Ramin, a strategy management consultant and part-time YouTuber advising corporates, investment firms across Europe on their strategy and investment agenda. But today, I'm here for you with a step-by-step guide to navigate the messy initial part of moving to Europe. Trust me, this video could save you from the costly mistake I've seen over and over. Ready? Let's dive in. This first step might sound basic, but it's crucial. Figure out your core drive and reason. As Simon Sinek famously says, start with why. This advice doesn't just apply to building companies, it's about building your life too. If you don't know why you are moving to Europe, you'll struggle to find the right entry pathway. From my own experience and observing others and available data online, I can say around 30 to 40% of people who move for a vague reason, like better life, end up regretting it. That's why you need to dig deeper. Think of it like launching a rocket. Your why is the fuel. If it's not strong enough, you will never reach orbit. Are you moving for a better job opportunity, a safer environment for your family, a place where you can innovate friendly, or double down and broaden your secure investments? Each answer will change your path. Personally, when I moved to Europe 15 years ago, my why was clear. I wanted to advance my education and build a career that had global relevance. It wasn't about escaping from my home country, it was about growing beyond my limits. This focus kept me grounded when things got tough. Take a moment. What's your real why? Write it down, tattoo it on your body, because it's going to shape every decision from here on out. Still not convinced on the importance of identifying your why? I highly recommend you to read Simon Sinek's book, Start with why. Perhaps Simon can convince you. Now that you have got your why, it's time to talk about the how and the step 2. Think of this step as choosing your vehicle for the journey. Each entry pathway to Europe, whether it's a professional pathway, educational, investment, or startup, has its own speed and comfort level. Some are like driving a Ferrari, fast but expensive. Others are more like taking the train, slower but steady. Did you know that a significant portion of non-European movers enter the EU through the professional pathway? Yet many who aim for this path are slowed down in the first few years of their entry because they simply underestimate the language, the importance of culture, network, and credential. If I could go back, I'd make sure I chose the right path based on my specific goals, not just the one that looked the easiest. For example, I knew someone, let's call him Raj. He moved to Germany through an education visa, thinking it would be a quick way to enter the job market. But he didn't realize that without strong German language skills, even after his degree, the job market remained out of reach. He lost nearly 2 years before he finally switched to a country that matches his skills and language abilities. So, how do you pick the right pathway? It's a big question, and I do not think you can approach each pathway with same criteria over and over. But I try to give you a taste of the challenge here. Professional entry pathway is best if you already have a decent track record in your field. If you're a software developer, for example, countries like Ireland, Germany have high demand for entry jobs in this field. However, getting a job in one of the European countries does not mean you have secured a career for yourself. To achieve this, you need to find countries that provide you, a non-native, the right platform to grow. If you want to find the perfect European countries for your career, not just countries that can give you a job, then watch the other video of mine where I share a step-by-step guide on this topic. Education entry pathway is ideal if you're looking to gain specialized skills. You may have heard about it, for instance, educational grants in Italy or top-notch educational facilities in Switzerland. And many influencers talk about this, but is it really the best option for a non-native student who wants to learn and perhaps a life after his academics? If you want to find the best university in Europe for yourself, check out the other video of mine around this topic. And third, let's look at the investment entry pathway. This pathway is relevant if you have the capital. We're talking about 150,000 euro or more. The countries like Portugal, Greece, Malta, Serbia offer quick residency and even citizenship in some cases, while the so-called golden visa, which are residency by investment, RBI, or citizenship by investment, CBI, it's a fast track, but the financial commitment is high. If you want to have an ultimate guide to figure out European countries with the best golden visa programs in 2024, you can check out my recent video on this topic. And lastly, startup entry pathway is great if you have the drive and the know-how to start and scale an innovative business. Countries like UK, Estonia, Denmark are top 3 2025 choices in Europe. If you want to know how I concluded these 3 startup programs on the top of my list, view the other video of mine. Remember, picking the wrong path can set you back years. So choose wisely. Just like Warren Buffett says, risk comes from not knowing what you are doing. So let's make sure you know. With that, let's move on to step 3. Europe is a continent of contrast. 44 countries, around 24 official languages, and countless regional cultures. Making the right choice is like choosing the right ship to sail across vast ocean. And if you don't get this right, you could end up in a place that doesn't support your goals. According to various studies, many international movers to Europe leave their initial host country within a few years, and often due to unmet expectation. The steps and consideration that one needs to have in mind in order to figure out the risks of relevant countries in Europe very much depend on your how, the chosen entry pathways, and your why. However, at the very high level, I highly recommend you to at least look at these four critical factors. Language. You might have heard the saying, to learn a language is to have one more window from which to look at the world. Without that window, however, you're likely to face an uphill climb in a new country. Language isn't just a tool for communication, it's your key to understanding and integrating into the local culture. If you're not ready to learn a new language, consider countries where English is widely spoken to help ease your transition. Cost of living. Did you know that Switzerland cost of living is approximately 85% higher than Spain? If you are moving on a tight budget, this difference can make or break your plans. Another factor is career opportunity. Pay attention to sectors in demand. For example, Germany is a powerhouse for engineering and manufacturing, while Ireland is a global hub for tech. Again and again, I'm not talking here about job market demand. I'm talking about finding the right country for your career. Quality of life. According to OECD's Better Life Index, Nordic countries consistently rank highest in work-life balance and happiness, but they also come with higher taxes. So what's more important to you? A few more hours of daylight in the winter, or a stable and functional public infrastructure that consider your well-being and happiness? If I had known to weigh these factors earlier, I would have saved myself a lot of time and heartache. For example, in 2010, I initially looked at Germany and the UK, but quickly realized that Sweden's affordability and English-friendly environment made it perfect choice for my goals. So create your shortlist wisely, and remember, this isn't about finding the best country. It's not a competition. It's about finding the right country for you. Talking about saving time, money, and challenges, if this video has given you some clarity so far, please like, subscribe, and it really helps with YouTube algorithm, and share it with others interested in taking this journey to Europe. One of my biggest goals with this channel is to help as many non-European who are interested in moving to Europe. And don't forget, drop your thoughts, questions below. I would love to know where you're at in your journey and help you however I can. The last and fourth step is secret that no one tells you. As famous psychologist Carl Jung once said, loneliness does not come from being alone, but from being unable to communicate the things that seems important. And when you are in a new country, it's all too easy to feel isolated. I can tell you from my experience. A staggering 50% of expats report their biggest challenge isn't finding a job, but making friends and feeling part of local culture. I personally cannot agree more. I remember my first few years in Europe, I could navigate metro like a pro, but making genuine connection felt like solving a Rubik's Cube blindfolded. If I could go back, I'd have put more effort into understanding the local customs and joining expat communities early on to build my support network that I needed throughout the coming part of my journey. Think of this way. If you were planting a tree, you wouldn't just dig a hole and stick it in. You prepare the soil, water it regularly, and protect it from harsh weather. That's what cultural integration is. Preparing the soil for your roots to grow. Join the local group, attend language classes, and if possible, get a cultural mentor. Little efforts can go a long way in making you feel at home. So, if I were starting over, these are the 4 steps I followed to make my move to Europe as successful as possible. Find your why, essentially your core drive and reason. Choose the right entry pathway that directs you to your why. Create a short list of countries that supports your why and offer the preferred pathway for you and the most overlooked one. Prepare yourself for cultural integration in those shortlisted countries. You will need it. Moving to Europe is like investing in stock market. It's risky, thrilling, and full of potential. But with the right steps, you can turn that risk into a life-changing success. If you want to know more about the main entry pathway to Europe, check out my other videos where I dive into each of these and share with you a step-by-step guide tailored to these entry pathway. Thanks, and see you next time.